Okay, want to say all praises to Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone, shalom to the apostles of Salakia, shalom to the brothers doing this work in our sincerity and truth. This is Kazak from the GMS Jamaica camp, and want to address this comment, right, made by Souflotv TV, right. Basically him comment on one of one of the Akim them in our camp video, right. And him asked a question: why are we disconnecting ourselves from Africa? And if we cannot be considered as such, then where is our land? Right. And to them more deal with this, to them more, hopefully edify on the matter. Right. So without further ado, I'm not gonna go into this. Okay, so the first point, we are not Africans. See, oh, we are not Africans, right? The land where get called Africa, where I get called Africa now, seeing it was first called the land of Canaan, right? How the name Africa come about? A Roman general by the name of Scipio Africanus, right, defeated Hannibal during the Second Punic War, right? And that's how the continent get the name, right, by a man by the name of Scipio Africanus. And this is Psalms 49. Psalms 49 and verse 11 there. Inward thought is that their houses shall continue forever, and their dwelling places to all generations. They call their lands after their own names. Right, so that it was standard procedure. Once you defeat a ruler and you get them land, it was up to you if you wanted to rename that land after, whether yourself or some form of event or the date, you know what I mean, after your family name. Seeing it was just standard procedure, right? Yeah. Seeing so, yeah, the land was called the land of Canaan at first. Seeing now the real so-called Africans, are the real people where them call Africans today, seen, were native of the land, seen, them are Hamites, right? They are known as Hamites, seen, them stem from after the great flood, right? Noah 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth, right? Them repopulated the earth along with them wives. See, now the Hamites, as I was saying, right, are direct descendants from Ham. Now, if I check the Zondervan Bible Dictionary, you would see that Ham are the progenitor of the dark races, not the Negroes, which the Negroes stem from Shem, right? Coming down to Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, and the 12, right? Now, out of the 12, you only have 3 tribes where Negroes now, right? You have Judah, Benjamin, and Levi, right? The other 10 tribes are basically Latinos, right? And the Native American Indians and the Latinos. Those are the other 10 tribes. See? Yeah. So Hamites are direct this the Hamites are direct descendants of Ham, right? Which them are dark people also, right? But not because people you have two people looking the same, or not because Israel and them look alike, right? That don't mean that we are the same, right? And we prove this with Exodus 11 and verse 7. But against any of the children of Israel shall not a dog move his tongue against man or beast, that you may know that how the Lord that put a difference between the Egyptians and Israel. So, okay. Right? So there is a difference between us and Hamites. Right? The scripture tells us that Jacob are the salt of the earth. Right? And it also says that Jacob are the farmer of all things. See, our people dominate in a majority of what them do. See, our people dominate the music industry. Our people dominate sports. Right? Our people dominate in strength. Right? Our people that majority of the inventions where you see I get used today. See, them come up by means of our people. See? So that are one way you can tell the difference between our people and the other rest of people them in the world. Right? We are the salt of the earth. Seeing our people have flavor, yo. Right? Right down to the very food we'll prepare. Right? Jamaican food is a staple all over the world. And I mean Mexican food, right? Spanish cuisine, right? Going like Cuba and places like that. Seen, right? Dancing, right? The most popular dances get built by our people, right? So there is a difference between us and everybody else on the face of the earth, whether they want to look black or however they want to look, right? That's one way you can tell if someone might be an Israelite, right? Yeah, so moving on, right? So now we covered the continent, how it got the name, right? Or how the true people of that land got the name Africans, right? We cover the fact that we and them are not the same. Now I'm gonna show you who we actually are. Seen and right, and according to the scripture, we are Israelites. So, okay. Right, direct descendants of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and the 12 tribes. Right, not them so-called white people where you see in the land. No, we actually stole the land and a fight over it. Right, them stole the land in our 1917. Right, the Balfour Declaration. Right, we at Balfour, right, to I think Jacob Rothschild. I'm not gonna speculate. I don't remember exactly who, but it was written to Lord Rothschild. Seen? And that's how the so-called Jewish people get our land, right? And right now them and the so-called Palestinians down there fight over our land, right? That land belongs to us. Seen? Genesis 17 and start at 5. Alright. It says Genesis 17 verse 5. Neither shall thy name any more be called Abram, but thy name shall be Abraham, for a father of many nations have I made thee. And I will make thee exceeding fruitful, and I will make nations of thee, and kings shall come out of thee. And I will establish my covenant between me and thee, and thy seed after thee in their generations, for an everlasting covenant, to be a God unto thee, and thy seed after thee. Right? And I will give unto thee, and to thy seed after thee, the land wherein thou art a stranger. See? Go again. And I will give unto thee, and to thy seed after thee, the land wherein thou art a stranger, all the land of Canaan, for an everlasting possession, and I will be their God. See? So that land where they might fight over today belongs to us. It was promised unto our forefather Abraham. Right? And not just Abraham, but the promise also came down to the promise also come down to Isaac, and then to Jacob. See, this is 2nd Chronicles. Hold on. No, not this. Hold on. Okay. I look for the wrong thing. Yeah, 2nd Chronicles 16 and 15. Be mindful always of his covenant. Speaking of the covenant that we just read about. Right? The word which he commanded to 1,000 generations. Even of the covenant which he made with Abraham, and of his oath unto Isaac, and hath confirmed the same to Jacob for a law, and to Israel for an everlasting covenant. Right? So that covenant, right, which include the land, seen, get made to Abraham, right, came down to Isaac, down again to Jacob, inherited by Isaac, then inherited by Jacob, seen, and eventually get inherited by the 12 tribes, seen. So really and truly that land belongs to us. That is our land, not Africa, right? The land of Canaan, the land of Israel, right? From the river Nile to the river Euphrates, that's our land. That is where we belong, right? But we not, the reason why we're not in that land now, right, is because we sin against the Heavenly Father, we break his commandments, right, which we got the warning in Deuteronomy 28, right? If thou shalt keep my laws and my statutes, then thou shalt be blessed in the earth. See, thou shalt be blessed in the earth above all nations. But if thou shalt not keep these laws and statutes, then thou shalt be cursed. Right? Just paraphrasing. Right? And guess what? We break the law. We break the laws, statutes, and commandments. Right? And now we are served punishment. That's why we don't enter the land at this moment. Right? That's why our people are suffer at this moment. That is why majority of people think that them are Africans at this time. See? Right? I'm gonna go back into this. Okay, so the misconception that we are Africans come about during this transatlantic slave trade, right, where majority of people get taken off the west coast of Africa, right? So okay, seen. So majority of people with the tribes Judah, Benjamin, and Levi, right? Those were the tribes that were taken off the west coast of Africa, right? And how we got there in the first place, this is the history and the prophecy of how we reach, so how we reach down there. This is Luke 21 and 20. Luke 21 and verse 20. And when ye shall see Jerusalem compassed with armies, then know that the desolation thereof is nigh. Then let them which are in Judea flee to the mountains, and let them which are in the midst of it depart out, and let them that are in the countries enter thereinto. Right? So this are the prophecy, right, that became history. Seen during 70 AD, right? Titus and Tiberius, right, held a siege on Jerusalem, right? And in order to flee Roman persecution, right, we left out of the land of Israel. We left out of the land of Jerusalem, same place, seen, and we fled into some of our people fled up into Europe, some went into Asia, right? But a majority of those people that was in the land at that time, right, being Judah, Benjamin, and Levi, fled down into the west coast of Africa, right, where we built civilizations, right? Timbuktu. As a matter of fact, you have a book by the name of From Babylon to Timbuktu, where you go in a lot of that history. See? Yeah, our people built civilizations down there in on the west coast of Africa, right? A majority of our people right now still, no, not a majority, but a lot of the people down there now are from our descent. See? You have Ghana, Mali, Nigeria, right? All of that little area there, our people. Seen? Yeah. And after that, right, after we flee down into down into the west coast of Africa, seeing that how we reach over here in during the transatlantic slave trade, right? You heard this saying that black people sold black people into slavery. Well, the truth behind that is that so-called blacks did sell so-called blacks into slavery, but as I explained before, with there being a difference between Israel and the other nations, right? Them that sold us into slavery were the Hamites. I'm going to get that real quick too. Right? The ones that sold us into slavery are the Hamites, which are known today as the real so-called Africans. See, these are Joel 3 and 3, and they have cast lots for my people, and have given a boy for an harlot and sold a girl for wine that they might drink. Right? This is what take place during the time of our enslavement. Right? Where people we get put up on auction blocks. You know what I mean? That's that. So you have what you call Them again. Wall Street. Seeing that there's a Wall Street come about, right, where our people get put up on auction blocks, you know, and get sold off to the highest bidder, right? Yeah, and what have you to do with me, O Tyre and Zidon, and all the coasts of Palestine, right? These are the names of the nation them, or the people them will catch our people along with the so-called white man, right, and sold us into slavery. Says, will you render me a recompense? And if you recompense me, swiftly and speedily will I return your recompense upon your own head. Seen? So them take we and sold us Salakia. The Lord I say, yo, how them are gonna pay me back? How them are gonna pay him back? Right? But guess what? Them can't go pay back. So the Lord are gonna bring back the recompense upon them own head. Meaning the same atrocity where them do to we, them are gonna get it back. So in other words, them are gonna go back in a slavery. Them and the so-called white man. See? Verse 5, because you have taken my silver and my gold, and have carried into your temples my goodly pleasant things. The children also of Judah and the children of Jerusalem have ye sold unto the Grecians. Right? As I said before, who did they in the land at this time, or at the time of the siege of Jerusalem? Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. Right? The children of Judah and the children of Jerusalem have you sold unto the Grecians, that ye might remove them far from their border. Behold, I will raise them out of the place whither you have sold them, and will return your recompense upon your own head. Right, so the Lord I got deliver we and bring them back into slavery under us. And me I go get a scripture for that. Right? And I will sell your sons and your daughters into the hand of the children of Judah, and they shall sell them to the Sabaeans, to a people far off, for the Lord hath spoken it. Right. I get the other precept there right away. This is Isaiah 14 and Isaiah 14 and verse 1. Right? It says, for the Lord will have mercy on Jacob, and will yet choose Israel, and set them in their own land. And set them in their own land. Right? These are when we get delivered out of this the situation, the predicament where we're in now. Right? And it says Jacob, and will have mercy on Jacob, and will yet choose Israel. Right? Because right now the tribes are divided. See? And I go get into that briefly. Right? Kind of did miss out a part there. But after I go just get brush up on it. Anyways, it says, and set them in their land, and the strangers shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob. And the people shall take them and bring them to their place, and the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Lord for servants and handmaids. Right? Just like what it said a while ago in a Joel. Right? And they shall take them captives, whose captives they were, and they shall rule over their oppressors. Right? So everybody will oppress we from throughout history coming on up, right? All of them are going to get oppressed by us, right? Thus saith the Lord. And it shall come to pass in the day that the Lord shall give thee rest from thy sorrow, and from thy fear, and from the hard bondage wherein thou wast made to serve. Right? Because up to this day we're still in our captivity, and we're still in fear, we still are serve bondage. Right? We not get delivered as yet. No matter how much I hear them say Jamaica independent or Jamaica, we call it emancipated, which emancipated don't mean that you're free. See, you just get bought from one slave owner. And guess what? If somebody buy you, they own you. You see me? So, yeah. Going to touching up the kingdom, the splitting, right? After Solomon, see, after the reign of Solomon, right, the whole nation of Israel get divided into two. You have the house of David, which is the kingdom of Judah, right? Judah being the head tribe, right? And then you have the house of Israel, which is Ephraim, Manasseh, Asher, the other 10 tribes, right? Now, the house of Israel, which is the 10 tribes, went into Assyrian captivity. And the house of Judah went into Babylonian captivity. See, now, after Assyrian captivity, after Assyrian captivity, sorry, give me a second. Right, the tribes, the 10 tribes, right, left and came over here into the Western Hemisphere, right, the Caribbean, the Americas. See, now that is why when this robber by the name of Christopher Columbus, which his real name is Cristobal Colon, right, when him come over here, when so-called discover the land, right, it was already inhabited by those, the area was already inhabited by those 10 tribes, right? The Americas, Mexico, America, right? The whole of this area was inhabited by our people, right? And but guess what? Them come, kill off some, carry back some over into Europe, Spain, sold them into slavery. Them was the first for going into slavery before Judah, Benjamin, and Levi, right? But majority, a lot of them were slaughtered. See, a lot of them were slaughtered, and a lot of them were brought back to Europe as slaves, right? But guess what? When them could have sit in the tech, them could have take the harsh conditions, right? So them had to get more slaves, or better slaves, or stronger slaves, right? Which is how our people come into play, right? That's how Deuteronomy 28 verse 68 get fulfilled. Right now, I'm gonna read this and then get the rest. Alright, this is 2nd Ezra 13 and 39. And whereas thou sawest that he gathered another peaceable multitude unto him, those are the 10 tribes which were carried away prisoners out of their own land in the time of Hosea the king, whom Salmanasar the king of Assyria led away captive. Right. And he carried them over the waters, and so came they into another land. Right. So the Lord carried them over the waters. Right. Speaking of the 10 tribes, right, into another land. Right, over here, in this area, the Caribbean, the Americas, as I said before, because nobody never really did live over here, right? But it was known that over here existed, right? Because in the time of Solomon, right, Solomon's navy used to come over here, right? It took them what the time 3 years to come and go. To come over here from Israel and to get back over there. It took them the space of 3 years. Right? Them cut them would and come and them, gather spices, exotic animals, exotic food, exotic trees, wood, lumber, seen. So over here it was known that over here existed. Right? And as me said, in the time of Solomon, there was peace. So all 12 tribes were together as one. Seen? But after Solomon, that's when the splitting of the nation began. Seen? Right. So after them, I'm going to go down somewhere and say, verse 41, but they took counsel among themselves that they would leave the multitude of the heathen and go forth into a further country where never mankind dwelt. Right, as I said before, over here was known, but nobody never really used to stay here or live here. Seeing that they might there keep their statutes which they never kept in their own land. And they entered into Euphrates by the narrow places of the river, for the Most High then shewed signs for them, and held still the flood till they were passed over. For through that country there was a great way to go, namely a year and a half, and the same region is called Ashtareth. Ashtareth. It is nearly a year and a half, right? And remember, me say it took 3 years. It took 3 years for when Solomon Navy used to come here to come and go. Right, roughly 3 years, because they know them would have to stay, spend some time to cut and to gather whatever them are gather. Right, so a year and a half go and a year and a half come back. Right. Something they don't point out. Yeah, that they might dare keep their statutes which they never kept in their own land. And after a while, them eventually start to go off. Right? Because as you know, the Mayans, the Mexicans, right? Let me say, yeah, them have certain what do you call it? Them have certain rituals what them do, right? For other gods, right? Them even go against the statutes, seeing them start mark up them skin, tattooing them skins, right? Same thing with the Native American Indians, which are the Gadites. See? So after a while, them basically start go off, and that is why the Lord start put the punishment upon them, right, and bring the devil Christopher Columbus against them, right. Now for our now for our captivity, Deuteronomy 28 and 68. Deuteronomy 28 verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships, by the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again. Right, now let me back up a little bit. Right, it says the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again. Right, now the first time majority of people literally born in Egypt, born into slavery, right? Because I think when before we start get you set up used as slaves or get ruled with rigor according to the scripture, right? I think it was 70 some odd people, right, that went into Egypt, right? The 12 brothers, and them families, them immediate families, them father, right, and so on, right? But people start to expand and grow, right? The scripture tells us that Israel gonna be as the son of the sea, right? And if you notice with our people, we breed up a lot. See? Now, it says, bring thee into Egypt again. See? So, as I said, the first time we were born in Egypt. See? Majority of people born in Egypt, born in slavery, right? But it says we are going to get brought into Egypt again with ships, right? And how we reach out of Egypt on foot, you know what I mean? But I mix up myself. So like the word Egypt, seen, just basically mean straight, right? Or hardship. See, so basically we're gonna get brought into slavery again, but this time we're gonna get brought by ships, right? Which, in going to history, right, are the cargo slave ships them were brought over here during the transatlantic slave trade. See, it said, thou shalt see no more again, right? Because we were first in the land of Jerusalem, right? And then we had to flee during 70 AD, seen, right? And after we fled, we up on the west coast of Africa for some years, right? Build up civilization, as I said before, right? And then we get taken by the so-called Africans and sold onto the Grecians, right? And then we get brought over here, right, to serve slavery, to become bondmen and bondwomen, right? Again, he said, by the way whereof I speak unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again, and there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you, right? Meaning nobody now go buy with freedom. See them say Jamaica emancipated, right? And the word emancipation just means to buy somebody from, basically to buy somebody from someone, right? So in other words, we get bought from the first slave owners and now we're owned by the British. See, just look up the meaning of the word emancipation, right? It just means from one owner to the next, right? Independence, we're still not independent, right? And we're still in a bondage, we're still in a captivity up to this day, right? If you take a look on Jamaica's economy, right? We know how much $1 trillion worth of debt, right, for a little small third world country. See, and we have nothing for show for it, right? Where all of that money go into will get borrowed. See, perpetual debt. And once somebody owe you, guess what? You're gonna be them servant. You're gonna be subservient. So like once you owe somebody, right, you're gonna be a servant to them. See? This is Isaiah. Isaiah 20:18. Right. Right. It's Isaiah 22 verse 18. He will surely violently turn and toss thee like a ball into a large country. There shalt thou die, and there the chariots of thy glory shall be the shame of thy Lord's house. Right? Yeah, verse 17 first. Behold, the Lord will carry thee away with a mighty captivity, and will surely cover thee. He will surely violently turn and toss thee like a ball into a large country. There shalt thou die, and there the chariots of thy glory shall be the shame of the Lord's house. Right, so we get brought over here into a large country, which is America. Right, we get brought over here to serve slavery, right, under the hand of the so-called white man, which is our main captor, right, even though we're still under captivity by him, right, because really and truly, him want to get the promise, we get promised unto us, you know what I mean, from to our father Jacob, seeing him sold him birthright and lose out from that promise. You see me? But and him kept in wrath from them time there up to now, right? Which is why I try to destroy our people. See? Yes, so I already read that. I remember if I already read this, but I'm gonna read it again anyway for edification. And then we finish up Isaiah 14 and 1. Right? Oh yeah, I read already. Right. Yeah, so it says the Lord that gonna bring we back and bring me and set we back in our old land. Right? After all this is through, after all this is over. Seen. I'm gonna read it again because I'm not really sure if I did read it already. Isaiah 14 and 1. For the Lord will have mercy on Jacob and will yet choose Israel and set them in their own land, and the strangers shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave the house of Jacob. Right, meaning the strangers being the other nations, right? And the people shall take them and bring them to their place, and the house of Israel shall possess them. Right, meaning we are going to possess them that possess us now. Right, in the land of the Lord for servants and handmaids, and they shall take them captives whose captives they were, and they shall rule over their oppressors. Right, and with that most our praises again to Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. Double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone, and shalom to all Akim doing this thing in all sincerity and truth. Hopefully this video was edifying, very edifying, and hopefully the brother Souflotv get a better understanding or get an answer to him question. And yeah, just look out because I got other brothers who are gonna do videos as well, you know what I mean, because that's how we work. We try to edify as much as we can. So until next time, shalom.